Rules for a Night by Ethan Hawke. Chapter 10. Grace. Grace is the ability to accept change, be open and supple, the brittle break. Imagine that as a caterpillar transforms its shape, it must experience excruciating pain while having no inkling of the exultation of flight. Habit, routine, and too much consistency numb our minds and pave the road for us to sleepwalk through our lives. Nothing stays the same. Everything passes and everything changes. However, do not move too much. As an apple tree cannot bear fruit if it is too often transplanted, neither will a knight who is always building a new castle. This may seem like contradictory counsel, to both accept the inevitability of change and attempt to remain constant. But to live well, sometimes you will need to hold two seemingly opposing truths, one in each hand, and carry them both comfortably. Nature creates its balance with opposites. We need the sun and the rain, the glacier and the desert. Likewise, inside ourselves, we must accept the inevitability of change while deepening and strengthening our foundation. I would like to confess to you girls one of my clandestine prayers, that your legs be a little chubby or your nose just a touch crooked, because nothing gives a young woman permission to be weak-minded, lazy, and dull as much as being considered beautiful. Young people, women and men, often use the position of beauty or wealth as permission to be uninteresting, undisciplined, and ill-informed. If they are fortunate enough to reach the age of 28 or so, they become like coddled coyotes, cute when little, but upon adulthood nasty, fearful, and living off the scraps of others. Engaging in athletics is excellent for building self-confidence and cooperation. This is true for boys, but even more significant for young women because it is so often absent from their lives. The world will not encourage you in this regard. A lady, and this is true for gentlemen too, Lemuel, does not over-concern herself with her own appearance or with the appearance of others. She is not slovenly. Far from it. She is meticulous in the care and cleanliness of her body. Her garments are an expression of her humility, clean, simple, well-made, and flattering. With her words, a lady is truthful. In her dealings, she is authentic. A lady does not care for such false diamonds as knowing royalty. She knows herself, and concerns herself with her own development. Her ideals, and how they manifest in her actions is the cardinal more lovely than the rose finch, because its feathers are a deeper shade of red? As you grow into maturity, do not concern yourself with aging. A rose is striking in full bloom only because it will never be so again, but a budding rose is also stunning, as are the dark petals of autumn. It is the fact that time is passing that creates its preciousness. A preoccupation with aesthetic beauty can be a distraction that leads young people away from pursuing a sincere exploration of their inner lives. All of us are asked to surrender the superficial beauty of youth and step towards something greater. We are being made ready for the spirit world. Each wrinkle is a crack in the shell of our conceit. Our conceit must be pulverized for the soul to fly. Sir Richard and I were riding one afternoon over the farmland along the edges of the Bodmere Moor. He paused on the road as the family travelled towards us. The wagon was loaded, heavy with goods, furniture, and 3 young children. In those years, with the tremendous amount of political upheaval in England, this was a common sight. "Excuse me, sirs," mumbled the mother, with a face twisted and unhappy. "We are travelling and looking for a new home. What are the people like in the town up ahead?" "What are they like in the town where you came from?" Sir Richard asked in return. "Oh, it was awful. People lied and cheated. We were terribly unhappy," the mother snarled, full of anger and disappointment. "Oh, yes," the father added spitefully. "No one was kind. It was a dreary place and we were glad to leave it." "Well, there are many people like that in this town," stated Sir Richard. "I worry you will be miserable here too." "Thank you very much," the father called out, shooting a scowl towards his wife. "Good riddance. We'll keep moving on." The small children looked weary as the wagon rolled on. Later, closer to evening, another family was seen travelling along the road. They were similarly loaded down with belongings and children. "Excuse me," the father called out to us. "We are travelling and looking for a new home. What are the people like in the town up ahead?" "What was it like where you came from?" Sir Richard asked, in a similar fashion to when he'd asked the previous family. "Oh, we were so happy," the father replied. "The people were all kind and warm. We hated to leave," the mother added. "We had so many friends." "Well, don't worry. Up ahead there are many people just like your friends." Richard laughed in his giant warm way. "I think you will be very happy here." End of chapter 10.